Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Flower Power Live. Today is September 13th, and I have to start immediately by saying happy birthday, Dad. Today's my dad's birthday. I hope you had a wonderful day and that you are celebrating yourself, which is appropriate for our plant of the week, which is really about like getting together and celebrating with people and creating something good. So our plant of the week is nasturtium. And this has been an incredibly busy week here at the Well Cultivated Life. I'm running a online virtual retreat for women who are interested in just finding out some more ways to create a more calm and connected life through different strategies. And so that started today, and we had a great session. So if you haven't joined up and you're interested, I hope you'll just go to comebacktoyoursenses.com and join up. But before I get any further, my name's Allison from the Well Cultivated Life, and I'm an herbalist ecologist and educator, and I love sharing my plant wisdom with you. Now, this week, the plant kind of chose me. It was just kept coming up in the cards that I was looking at and in other ways. And so I don't have an actual nasturtium plant with me. I don't grow it, or I didn't grow it this year, but I do have this beautiful bouquet, locally grown, and some wild plants. So I thought I'd just throw that in. Everybody loves a beautiful flower bouquet. Now, it's getting dark early, and so I'm having to use my lights, and I hope you can see everything okay. So back to nasturtium. This plant is a bit on the zesty side. It's a little spunky. All right. So nasturtium is native to the Andes, but it's been popularized around the world, and it is where's my notes? The seeds are super abundant to save. It's easy to grow in your garden, and it's also incredibly beautiful. And now over the years, it's been hybridized into a bunch of different colors, but the original one's more of like an orange type of a color. Now, one of the great reasons to grow nasturtium in your garden is that it makes an excellent companion plant. And what that means is that it's used to help repel pests. So you can either plant nasturtium next to plants that have a lot of pests. In particular, it works well with like the cucurbit family. So that would be cucumbers, melons, squash, and also with the brassica family, which is your broccoli, collards, kale, and lots of other mustard plants. Now, both of these types of vegetables families, they have a lot of pest issues. And so planting nasturtium should help to ward them off. If it doesn't do the trick, you can always harvest some of the leaves and create a decoction, like just boil up the leaves and make an extract and then spray that directly on the plants, and it helps to repel them, and it's super safe. At least it better be safe, because nasturtium is also an edible plant. The flowers and the leaves are both edible, and it's the most common thing you see in salads, when you see a lot of people sprinkling edible flowers into their salads. But it can also be used. I saw a post recently that showed someone cooking up the nasturtium leaves like kale chips. So you basically put them with some oil, lay them down on a tray, and bake them in the oven, and make yourself some nice crispy and peppery chips. They have a very peppery type of a flavor to them. And not only can you eat the leaves, you can also eat the freshly set kind of seed pods while they're still green. And you know what? You probably have actually eaten those, because what are those? Capers. So capers are the green seed pod of a particular variety of nasturtium that is harvested before it really starts to set the seeds on the inside while it's still green. And that's popular in all different kinds of dishes, and I think more like Mediterranean cuisine as well. which makes me wonder, is it really from the Andes? It might not be. It might be from the Mediterranean. I'll have to check that out a little bit more. But nasturtium is also very nutritious. It has a very high vitamin C content, and it also has a high amount of an antioxidant called lutein. And lutein is very supportive for like your skin health and eye health as well. And so it can just be eaten, and it can also be taken medicinally as an extract. An extract of the leaves usually, and this extract has a lot of different compounds that are antimicrobial, antifungal. It works as an expectorant. That means just to help get phlegm out of your lungs, anti-inflammatory, and anti-cancer properties. So again, a multitude of uses for nasturtium. Now, one of the things that it's usually used for, because of this antimicrobial aspect, is it can be used for respiratory situations, infections, bronchitis, congestion, colds, and coughs, and so on. Now, one fantastic benefit of nasturtium is that it has some properties that are very similar to golden seal. And as you may remember from a previous show, golden seal is a highly endangered plant. And so it's also usually harvested for the root. So anytime that we can substitute another plant and not have to use golden seal, that's a major plus. So nasturtium works relatively well in many of the same ways that golden seal does. And so yet another great reason to plant it in your garden. Now, the flower essence for nasturtium, it is really for people that spend too much time being like a little bit too intellectual, and then they've just got kind of drained, they spend too much time studying and really are not having enough fun, is basically what it comes down to. So it brings a new glowing vitality and warmth into the persons, and gives them a desire to just live a little bit more and get out of their head. So according to the Lycanwood Herbals, nasturtium is used to increase life force. Nasturtium's gift is lending warmth and physical vitality to people who are overly intellectual and detached. These people have trouble engaging socially with others. People become more aware of and stimulated by color when they take this essence. Interesting. They will also feel a greater connection to earth and the physicality of their incarnation. Nasturtium is indicated in cases of narrow-mindedness, compulsiveness, nervousness, or obsession. So anyone that just cannot get away from their like intellectual aspect needs to just get out and be a little bit more social, which is interesting because nasturtium card is also telling us to get a little bit more social. Where did you go? All right. So even though nasturtium kind of showed up for me, I went ahead and grabbed the nasturtium card out of the Herbcrafter's tarot deck. And nasturtium is the 6 of fire. And the fire cards represent action or play. And they're asking us to be more creative. So not necessarily like artistically creative, but just to get out and create something with our hands. So the words on the card say this, the card says to celebrate yourself and others, call the circle and make some magic, glitter and spice, magnify power and joy. So what this shows is a table set with some candles and magic making and nasturtium strewn all over. And there's going to be a gathering where people are going to come together and gather around the table to work with nasturtium. And so this is saying to go ahead and look at what is your ability to bring people together? You probably have it. And get some people gathered together. But when you do, you don't want to just kind of sit around and talk. Let's make some magic together. And here it might be magical because of the way this card is. But making magic also means just creating something beautiful, or that kind of magic of people working together in creation. So if we think about the actual plant nasturtium, it's spicy, it's bold and bright and beautiful. And so think about bringing yourself into this sort of state of beauty this week, this state of getting a little bit sassy, getting together with some people and being creative. So create yourself a positive social interaction and make some magic together. Get a little zesty this week. And that is our message from Nasturtium this week. I thank you so much for joining me here. If you are not following me on Instagram, my handle is @cultivatemylife. And so I hope you will follow me there. And until next week, you can join my Come Back to Your Senses challenge, or check out my YouTube channel. So have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.